Hi and welcome to TacticalIntelligence.net. Today I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite edible and medicinal plants by the name of sumac. And now sumac comes in a lot of different species. And the ones that you'll want to look out for, actually, the first one you want to look out for is poison sumac, which is actually a cluster of white berries, and you want to stay away from those. Those grow in areas of, it really likes marshy, swampy areas. So if you're in an area like this where it's pretty dry, there's a lot of sun, it's most likely not poison sumac. And another way to tell is by the leaves. If you can zoom in here, this compound leaf here is actually made up of a lot of little finely toothed leaves. Like on the outside, they're really finely toothed, and then with the poison sumac, it's actually smooth all the way around. And that's another way to tell if you can't see the berries, because these do have medicinal properties that you can use, which I'll explain later. But for the late summer and early fall, you can actually use it throughout some of the winter time as well. You'll just have to use more of them. You can take these clusters of berries here and just pluck them off and gather a good handful of these, and what you can do is, which I'll show you later, is saturate this in water and just let it sit there for a while. And what it does, it leaches out. It has these acidic properties to it that taste a lot like pink lemonade, and actually I prefer it over lemonade or iced tea or anything else. So I'm going to gather a bunch of these and bring it into the house and show you how I process this. And just as a quick note, if you look at the bark here, this bark you can peel and use as an astringent. So similar to hydrogen peroxide, you could peel this, boil it, and gargle it and use it for sore throats and other things that require astringent properties. So it's a great medicinal plant as well. So again, I'm just going to gather a bunch of these clusters, bring them home, and then show you how I process this into juice. So that's it. Back inside, and I'm going to show you how to quickly process these. So you've grabbed a few handfuls, and depending on the time of year actually determines how strong these things are, as well as when you pick them. So just a note of advice: if you get them after a rain, the acids tend to leach from the berries, and that won't be as strong. You can still use them, but you just have to collect a greater number of them. Also in the winter time, since it's gone through quite a few rains, it's going to be pretty diluted by then. Again, you can still use them, you just have to get a greater number. So right now we're coming to the very end of the summer, and it's a great time to process them. A lot of the heavy rains haven't come yet from the fall, and so they still have a lot of the citric acids in them that you can use. So you just take them, put them in a bowl of water, and if you were out in the field, you know, you could put them in a canteen or a wooden bowl that you've burnt out to make a water container. And it would be the same process. Just put in the berries, and you want to slightly bruise them. Just kind of take your hands and crush them a little bit. And what this does, it just helps to release, again, those acids that are inside of it. You don't have to be exceptionally thorough with this, but just enough that separates them. And so after you're done that, you just let it sit for a good 10 or 15 minutes, and you can actually take a little, you know, dip your finger in there and taste it and see if it tastes sour enough for you. Basically what you're after is kind of similar to lemonade, that kind of a flavor. And so we'll let it just sit there, and I'll show you how you can strain it. Hi, so at this point you should have already had this stuff sitting in there for a good 10 to 15 minutes. So what you can do is just get these stems out of there, throw them in the trash, throw them out in the woods, whatever. You just want to get the major stuff out of there. And then you just want to filter it. So I use a old t-shirt. Make sure it's washed. You don't want it all stinky and sweaty. You can use cheesecloth, heavy-duty paper towels, anything that will keep these berries out and let the juice through. So I'm going to show you how that works here. In this case, I'm putting an old shirt over this glass jug that I have that we're going to be storing the juice in. You just pour it in, and it's going to catch all the berries and hairs and dirt and whatever else that should get in there, and leave the juice behind. You can actually squeeze it out if you want. Save some of that stuff. And there you go. And that's what you're left with. It looks a lot like, you know, some kind of juice that you would normally drink. I actually like it just as it is, non-sweetened. It's a little bit of sour, you know, but add some sugar and to taste, and there you go. Hey, I just wanted to quickly mention something that I wanted to point out in case you don't get a chance to read the accompanying blog post. That actually has all the details on how to make this again, as well as more details on, you know, what's in this stuff, why is it healthy, and so forth. So just the thing I wanted to point out, make sure that you use cold water when you're processing this, because if you use hot water, it ends up pulling out the tannins, and those tannins actually cause it to become medicine, and it's also very bitter, so it's not going to taste so good. So use cold water, don't use hot water. And just as a disclaimer also, make sure that you go out with someone that can positively identify this, or consult a good field guide. You don't want to go out there and grab the wrong stuff and end up killing yourself or injuring yourself. Okay? So that's about it. Let's give it a little try here. It's good stuff. Try it out.